The Competition Commission guidelines for the competition in the South African Automotive Aftermarket came into effect on Thursday, bringing a decade of allegations of anti-competitive behaviour in the aftermarket value chain to an end. Tembinkosi Bonakele is a competition commissioner who joins us now. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us.
Good evening, and thanks for inviting me.
So let's talk about the allegations that led to original equipment manufacturers and approved motor body repairers having exclusionary agreements.
Yeah, there is something called the Right to Repair, which is a group of independent repairers who have been complaining about being excluded from the market by virtue of these appointed repairers having exclusivity to repair cars, particularly cars that are in warranty or cars that are being repaired by insurances.
What is the importance of this? I mean, just educate us a little bit, because for us it's almost become a norm it's almost as if those are specifically chosen repairers because they're the only ones who can do the job.
No, actually, this is fairly unique to South Africa. In most parts of the world, our research has shown us that the aftermarket is fairly open. So in other words, consumers have a choice of deciding which repairers or service centers would work on their cars. So independent workshops are a norm throughout the world. What has restricted the market in South Africa is that when people still have warranties, the OEMs didn't allow that consumers would exercise choice, and if they did exercise choice, the warranty would not be honored. So that's really been the problem, and of course compounded by the insurers as well, because the insurers also would channel you to their approved repairers, and if you go outside of that system, you wouldn't have your insurance honored. So these are the restrictions that are self-imposed by and large. They are not really a necessity in a market like this.
So you started this work in 2017, working with the industry to resolve some of these problems. Did you encounter industry stakeholder, challenges?
Yes, indeed. Remember, this was the way that business is done. Even consumers themselves actually don't understand that they do have that choice. I mean, a simple example, so when you buy a car, there is a price for the car and there is a price for the service plan, or what is called a motor plan. But most consumers are not aware of that, and they think that the two is inherent, that you're getting a service plan and it's for free. No, you actually pay for it, and you can choose not to buy it, but that choice was never made available. So how the market has functioned for a very long time was quite obscured. So there was a lot of information asymmetry. People were not aware what their rights were, and even the players themselves were so invested in the way this market worked that it was very difficult to get them to agree to change. And so we've had resistance, particularly from the OEMs, the brand owners or the manufacturers of motor vehicles. I think right now we have most of them on board, but you still have people, for example, who own dealerships. Remember, dealerships benefit from this because you are forced to go to a dealer to buy parts and to service your car. So dealerships, there's some pocket of resistance. Sometimes we pick up, but I think everybody eventually is going to move on.
So talk to us about the guidelines that the Commission has put together.
So the guidelines basically are aimed at improving entry. So the many independent workshops will be able to enter the market. So we are lowering barriers and consumers will have choice. And we do this through various provisions in the guidelines. For an example, for servicing in warranty vehicles and maintaining them, the OEMs may not refuse to honor the warranty if you use an independent workshop. And also, there will still be work for those who are approved. So we also kind of limiting the barriers to being registered, because you still can be registered by the OEM and by insurances. But we're saying they must not restrict quantities. So you'll remember in the past, if you wanted to repair a car, there was a geographic area and there would be an appointed repairer within that geographic area. We're saying now, put up the requirements for repairing cars, and anybody who meets those requirements would enter the market. You don't have to restrict quantities, because by doing so, you are limiting choice for consumers, and you will enable those who are incumbents to increase prices.
So does this mean that we will be able to shop around for more affordable rates, and small business owners will be able to, be brought into the service industry more often?
That's correct. So you wouldn't face an unreasonable refusal from the OEM to honor a warranty because you've used a service provider who is not approved by them. But also you can shop around for parts. And this is very, very important, because the parts market is also quite huge. And you're finding that there are manufacturers and distributors of parts who are distributing the same parts that the OEMs use in manufacturing the vehicles. But you are not allowed to buy directly from them. You have to go through a dealership. We're saying now that you can shop around for parts, and you can fit them in your car, and they may not refuse to honor your warranty simply because you've chosen a cheaper part.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Competition Commissioner Tembinkosi Bonakele.